Hi guys, I want to do a quick little video about a different way that we feed our dogs sometimes. So my dogs will, a couple times a week, my husband will make a stew for them. So it has different organs, a little bit of rice, some veggies, stew meat, and then I also tend to add yogurt and pumpkin. They're generally good for dogs' digestion. One puppy. Puppy. One. So this is all part of the training process. We're teaching the puppies how to stay in their place when the other dogs are eating and when things are out and about. Puppies are rather nosy, and while I don't mind most of the time, I do need to be able to tell them to not get involved. So you might see me heading over here sometimes and just using spatial pressure to put them back on the couch. Most of the time they do have a lot of free range, but I make sure that the puppies aren't bothering my dogs during mealtime, and when my dogs generally want to be left alone. My dog's job is not to babysit them. So you'll see that as part of the video too, which is fair. The dogs, they smell the food, it smells really good, it has all this fresh meat in it. The meat is on top of their kibbles, so I don't raw feed my dogs, I don't use fresh food, though I'm tempted to. And part of that reason is I'd be really nervous about making sure that they're getting an appropriate balance of all the foods that they actually need. So if I do this a couple of times a week, they get all the nice supplements. This is a little bit of fish oil. They get all the nice supplements that they need that are beneficial to their health, while I know that they're getting the base nutrients that they need. So it's a nice way that you can do that. It also gives me more flexibility. I do a lot of enrichment with my dogs' meals. I do a lot of training with their meals. They work for their food most of the time. This keeps their food motivation up also, because they're not just getting these meals all the time. My dogs are not food picky. They'll eat their next plain kibble meal just as readily as they will this. And one of the reasons that they do that is that I make them work for their food, so they don't just get it for free every time. If they don't want to work for their food, that's totally fine. They just don't eat that day, unless they have a stomach ache or something funny. It doesn't have to be anything necessarily difficult working for their food either. It could be using a snuffle mat. It could be laying down before they eat. It's just really simple criteria, but it does help to keep their food dried up. So now that they've been waiting patiently, I'll call Mally. Mal. Her turn to eat. Louise. Good girl. If you have dogs with any type of resource guarding, if you're using a high value food, please separate them as needed. I know which of my dogs would have an issue if they have an issue with it. Generally, my dogs don't have an issue with resource guarding, but because this is a higher value food, it's just not worth the extra pressure on them. They deserve to have that little bit of time alone, especially because I do have such a hectic and crazy household. So don't be afraid if you have multiple dogs to feed them separately. That's totally okay. Especially if you have a dog who's staring really intently at the other dog while they're eating, or trying to steal out of their plate. That's generally unpleasant for the other dog. Taz. And Maya. Good girl. So that's a little bit of their supplemental meals a couple times a week. Again, it just helps to fill in some of their gaps that their kibble might not be giving them, and helps out with their meals. I do like adding yogurt as a supplement. Do be aware that some dogs have milk sensitivities just like people, so not all dogs will be okay with it. And this way you can also figure out what your dog likes and what they don't like. But we just use a nice simple stew in our pressure cooker. So I hope that helps. Have a great day.